What do you want for Christmas?
I done got where, I guess the older I get, man, I don't want people spending a bunch of money on me.
Yeah.
You know, like a hoodie, a good jacket, you know, a hoodie to wear somewhere presentable and then a hoodie to go out in the yard and work in.
Man.
Or a jacket. But then you go on the lower end, like I said earlier, pocket knives and flashlights. I ain't never got enough of them for some reason.
And as bad as I hate to say this, a good freaking pair of socks.
Yeah.
Like we
All
always
socks
joke.
are hard to find.
I mean, now I ain't talking about your Hanes from Walmart. I'm talking about like some good socks. Hey, welcome back to Out the Smoke. We're in the podcast room today, and we're going to be talking all about Christmas gifts. Now, I brought a special guest in here, my good buddy Jody Morgan. How's it going, man?
It's good. How are you?
Pretty good. You not sure what to think about doing a podcast not related to hunting?
Yeah, kind of. Yes, might be interesting.
So the reason I chose Jody is because y'all know I'm very involved in the barbecue world. Malcolm, same thing. He's tied up in the barbecue world. You're kind of the average dad. Like, you cook for your family. You don't compete, but you enjoy cooking. You got a pellet grill. You got a Blackstone, don't you?
Blackstone, yep.
And then a charcoal grill. So, I mean, the normal consumer is what I was wanting to key in on, because you want the normal gifts. Like, if you ask me what I want for Christmas, I'm going to be like, well, what about an Outlaw or pellet grill? Like, you know, I might take it to the extreme, but kind of want to go over that. But a little backstory. How did we meet?
Grew up going to school together. I mean, we both grew up here in Hernando. I guess it was middle school?
Yeah, I think maybe middle school. When
sometime around there, started running around together. Went from there.
And then I guess college, everybody went their separate ways. And then here we are 20 years after high school.
20 years next year.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Been a while.
Yeah. We done aged a little bit. But no, kind of like previously on these podcasts, we've talked about what it takes to, you know, get prepared for a Christmas dinner or holding a Christmas party. Like, people don't realize, and we've talked about this on all of them, is what it takes to make that happen. And we can kind of relate and go back and kind of, you tell your experiences with Christmas parties. But the biggest thing I want to talk about is Christmas gift, Christmas ideas for guys, husbands, even wives. Like, if you think of a woman, I mean, your wife cooks. I mean, so things like that. So anything related to that, that's what we want to key in on today. But first off, how many years have you been married?
10 years. Been married 10 years.
Did you have to text your wife?
I did. I did that just to make sure. I knew it was 10 years.
If you misspoke on that, it was game over.
It'd been a lot worse if I'd have said the wrong thing.
So out of those 10 years, I'm guilty of it. I've got a set sitting in my pantry. How many 3-piece sets of the kitchen utensils or grilling utensils have you got from, no offense to nobody's in-laws? Most likely it's from the in-laws. Most likely. But how many have you got?
I probably got a few. I don't know how many are left, though. They usually...
Did you use them?
They probably make their way out pretty quick. Probably for a time or two. Had a few that fell apart pretty fast.
See, that was me. Like, I'd get them, and that was kind of the kit you would get for Christmas or your birthday. You go out there, cook burgers, scrape the grill off with them, and they pretty much got put in the garbage.
That's right.
I mean, it was a thoughtful gift.
Yep.
I'm not going to say the $15 Walmart 3-piece grilling set is the best to go for this holiday season, but let me start over, because you are kind of fresh to the cooking world. What are all the cooking related gifts you got? And it don't have to be just for Christmas. Like, what all have you got in your lifetime that is related to either outdoor cooking or cooking in the house, or even cooking deer meat or hunting, you know?
Utensils, any big, knives, basting brushes, bowls. The bowl's been pretty handy,
What's been the worst?
Oh, man.
And you don't have to, if it's going to get you in trouble,
honestly,
beat around the bush.
A set of tongs that the handles fell off of them about the second time. And, you're trying to pick something up in the middle and think you got something going, and it falls apart. And I can say that's probably the worst one. So
what would you, to kind of back up that and back up your knowledge to that, on a scale to like 1 to 10, what is your cooking experience? 10 being, I'm going to say I'm a 8.5, 9. I'm not a 10. So in relation to 1, never cooking nothing, being a 3, 4, 5 is not a bad thing, or 6 or 7. Like, that's not bad.
Shoot, I'd say if you're a 9, I'm on the 4.5, 5 scale maybe. I mean, I can cook, but it ain't, I don't have it down to a science like you do.
But I think, like, I would say probably for me, like I said, I'd say I'm an 8 or 9. I'm not going to say I'm a 10. I'll never be a 10. Don't want to be a 10. But in my years of cooking and getting gifts from families and everything like that, man, I've got some weird, like, spices, like some weird, like, organic lemon peppers and like stuff that, like, it looks good. And I'm like, oh, that'll be pretty good. And you open it up and it tastes like garbage.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But we've all been there. Like I say, we've all got the grilling utensils. We've got cheap thermometers, and I've got some really, really cool knives. Like, that would be some of my upper level stuff, is like some of the knives I got for Christmas.
Yeah, see, like with me, some knives would be something that, and I do this with pocket knives. I can't never have enough of them. I get one, I think it's the best one, and then I set it over there and use it every now and then. But,
well, I feel like there's so many more options now. And I don't know if it's because we're older and we have the internet, we can look. But, like, I never, like, you look at, what is it, Montana Knife Company.
Oh, yeah.
You're a huge fan, which I am too. They're bad to the bone knives. But you never heard of anybody making, like, handmade custom knives like when we were younger.
Yep.
Like, you had a buck knife, maybe I don't even know, like, buck knife, charade.
I think Kershaw come out there at the end. But yeah,
Gerber. I guess Gerber was probably
Gerber
a big
had
one,
some.
But, as far as, like, I've never seen a fancy kitchen knife. You know, I know my dad, I still had some, the old wooden, was it Chicago cutlery?
Yep.
I think that was the name. Just a wooden handle, had 3 rivets in it.
I think my mama still got a couple of them in the drawer.
There's one at my dad's house that's been sharpened down to where it's like, it ain't nothing left of the blade. Like, it's a fillet knife now, and it used to be a steak knife, you know?
Yep.
But that's one of the things, like, to me, my best memories or my best gifts have been some type of knife. Like, I've got a Shun brisket knife that I'm a huge fan of. One of them, I think it was, I got 2 of them, and I get them mixed up, but one of them I got was like a 8-inch or 10-inch chef knife that was a guy down in Mississippi made. My brother-in-law actually got it for me, Chris, but it was a Damascus steel, and it had swine life laser etched in it. It was a handmade. It's beautiful. It's actually, it might be in here. It's either in here or in my office, but it's been one of my top ones. What's been your best?
I'd say with me, I don't have a covered patio. I have a small little covered porch on the back. I've gotten covers for my Blackstone. I've got a cover for my pellet grill and for the charcoal grill, just to keep them out of the weather.
Yeah.
And they were actually good covers. They've lasted. One of them probably is about time to replace it. But like the Blackstone was good material, and that joker holds up, keeps the weather off of it. I'm going to say that's probably one of the better quality and useful, because that's one of my big pet peeves about gifts is people that just give you a gift to give you a gift, knowing you're going to stick it in the drawer and it's just going to take up play. Like, if you give me a gift, give me something I can use, and that thing has been the biggest use I've had.
So I think that goes back to when I got married. Well, let me rephrase that. I got good gifts before I got married from my in-laws. And see, I got the reverse role. And this is going to get me in trouble, I know. When my wife lived at home and she was still letting her mom and dad help her out here and there, and what it was, my father-in-law, Mr. Charlie, was helping the Christmas shopping for me, and it was on point.
There you go.
Then the first year we got married, it's like
they went to the woods.
It went a little down. My wife's tight, man. Like, she's scared to death to spend a dime, and I'm like, man, if it's a gift, let's go.
There you go.
But I've got some really, really good gifts over the years, and by a lot of different people. But this one here, probably gonna get you in trouble too. But who's been your best gift giver?
Whew. My mother-in-law she loves giving gifts.
So you're just getting brownie points now.
Oh yeah. But she's which Rachel, my wife, she's the same way. She loves, when it comes to Christmas shopping, she's all about it. They love to give gifts, they're like me. I don't, if I like giving gifts, I'm not that into it like they are, but I ain't a real big person on getting gifts. Like, I'd much rather, give them to people and let them see the joy of it. Now, I do enjoy getting gifts, but my mother-in-law, she's pretty good at asking you what you want and going out and getting pretty good gifts. Rachel's good at it too, though. And my mom, all the women I can say
you're scared to be honest.
Now
I feel it.
The men, and me, I got this honest from my daddy. Me and my daddy and my father-in-law. We ain't much of shoppers. So.
Somebody goes for you.
Yeah, if I'm either getting it on the internet or if I can't pick it out close here, you probably ain't getting it. Or Rachel will go get it for me. Is the best thing.
So. One of the things we were talking about this earlier today in the conference room was the item itself does not make it a good or bad gift, especially for a guy.
Yep.
Like we joke about the cheap out utensil set or whatever, but there's a difference in a $15 utensil set and say a $40 or $50.
Yep.
Like there's some nice like utensil sets out there. And like I've got some that I keep in my cook trailer that's been a lifesaver. Same thing goes, like we were talking about, I don't want a cheap, rough cotton $10 apron.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to wear it, but if I had like a nice leather apron, something that would hold up and that you can maintain and something that's pretty cool, like I would go for that. But it's like different tiers in each level. You don't, and it don't have to be expensive,
Yep.
Like there's been plenty of times, man, one of the best gifts you can get a barbecue guy, in my opinion, is a ThermoWorks dot.
Yep.
It's $35. I think it may be a little more now. It's a dot, do one thing. It just reads temperature. That's all it does.
Yep.
And that's, to me, that'll take somebody that's getting into cooking and not familiar to get them more comfortable cooking stuff, especially like chicken. Like when I first got into cooking, I hated chicken because I wasn't doing it right. Everybody can overcook chicken, but man, if you cook chicken right, it's pretty dang good. It ain't bad, So I think there's a big window there, and there's a couple of things that just a lot of people don't think about, like especially, we joke about one thing I remember that growing up, and I seen this every Christmas. You're going to see it this Christmas. Most likely, if you're listening to this podcast, you're going to see it this Christmas too. But the little gift box with a little 8-inch chub of summer sausage.
Oh yeah, and the crackers and cheese.
Some little glass jar mustard, crackers and cheese.
That's right.
Like they're in Walmart right now. When you walk in the door, that's the first thing you see.
Yep. And when I was a kid, I remember for some reason this sticks out to me. It seemed like the gift, just friends giving friends little small gifts, was them tins of popcorn.
Dude,
that had the 3 assorted popcorns.
I still love it though.
Yep.
I can remember going to my grandparents' house and it was sitting by my granddaddy's recliner.
Yep.
And it had, what was it, caramel, cheddar, and butter?
I think so.
But
I never saw those things. But come December, it's like we had 5 or 10 of them at the house.
And usually it was used as Christmas decoration the next year because it was
That's
always
right.
a snowman or something on it.
For it. The tin made a storage bin.
That got me thinking, what was the butter cookies that was in the little blue dish?
Oh, yeah. I had the little Christmas scene around the edge and had the separators.
And they had little cupcakes all in there. What was they called?
I don't know. Those weren't.
I love them things.
I wasn't a fan of them. I ate the popcorn, the caramel popcorn.
That was the good stuff.
It was.
But it's, what are some good gifts that from a cooking, I can name a ton of good gifts, but from a cooking side of things that the average consumer is useful.
So something that sticks out to me, a normal person just cooking on the back porch on a Saturday evening, like the kits that y'all have up here in the shop. One year, Rachel's daddy's like me. He cooks on the back porch. He cooks hamburgers here and there, steak here and there. Nothing fancy, but he cooks a good meal. And Rachel come up here and got a couple, I think 2 rubs and a sauce, and made a little gift bag. And you would have thought she got him a new grill.
Yeah.
He was tickled to death and stuff like that. It's something I feel like he wouldn't have went out and bought.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have went to the meat process or to the meat store or even Academy or wherever they have the seasonings and picked out those seasonings because she got them. There they were. And now he's cooking with them and using those.
Seasonings are, like I joked about the lemon pepper sucking, but man, when you can, like now, especially because there's so many seasonings out there.
It is.
And it's from the normal barbecue rub to you go look and there's Parmesan truffle. There's all these flavors. And man, I love trying them.
Yeah.
Like you've seen my spice cabinet. It's full of all kind of crap. I don't use 90% of it, but I got it one day and I tried it and I might have liked it. I might not have, we do. That's one of the big movers in the store is the little gift baskets with kind of assortment. And it can be, we've done.
See, I think Rachel, she got like 2 rubs of sauce and some kind of little, like either a thermometer or just a little utensil
Yeah.
and give it to him, and you would have thought, like I said, you would have thought you got a new grill or something.
I think, that's good because everybody can go to, like you say, Academy. They
Yep.
got a heck of a selection.
Yep.
And it's a lot of the big names out there that are popular, especially on the social media side of things. I mean, you got Malcolm and Heath and Meat Church, and there's a ton of others, Tuffy Stone. It's a lot of brands in there that a lot of people don't know about.
Yep.
Because I go to the store and I walk down the aisle and I look for that, but most of your average consumer, I've seen it. You go to Walmart, the lady's like, hey, I'm trying to find some rub. My husband wants to cook a butt. Well, she just grabs Lowry's or just whatever, and I'm like, well, hold on. I'm not saying this is better than the other one, but if you want to venture out and try something different, like there's other things out there.
And see, that's what I'm used to, as a kid and before got introduced to more of the cooking stuff. That's what I was used to. Just the salt and pepper or the garlic, just the little small spices.
The little McCormick's.
Yeah, the McCormick's kind of stuff. Whereas now y'all have got all kinds of blends, all kinds of flavors, all kinds of one style, one thing that'll do whatever you want to do with.
And now, like even like the crap, I forgot the guy's name, and I'm sorry if you're listening. The Al Fergoni that does the chimichurri.
Yeah.
That's in the shakers, dry chimichurri. And like, there's a ton more things coming out that are similar to that. That's not a rub. I mean, it can be used as a rub or a spice, but you use it to make something else,
Well, and too, like the brine, the bird brine that I got the other day. If I had to make a brine for that turkey, who knows what I'd have thrown off in there, but being able to dump part of that bottle
and
in
it's
there,
ready to
add
go.
water to it and let it soak, that's the easiest thing you can do.
We do. So, and a lot of people are going to like the gift sets, like a lot of barbecue rub companies, because it's for that reason. It's a buy one thing, get a variety.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to hit with one of those. Like, no matter, like if you give me 4 or 5 rubs in a basket, I'm going to be tickled to death, whether I like them or not, because it gives you something to try. And it's stuff that I wouldn't normally buy for myself.
Yep.
So that's always a good one. If you were going to say, are you I know you like Montana Knife Company, but that's an anniversary gift.
Oh yeah, that's a
special
gift. That's a
save
up for that one.
But
Yeah.
so if somebody was to get you a knife set or something along those lines, what would you be looking for? Like, would you want something more for like a steak knife set, or were you looking for something for like processing, like a boning knife or something to trim with, or like use more than just for a steak
I kind of
knife?
like the prep knife part of it. Because like that Victor notch you turned me on to, like, I bought that and I catch myself taking it and cutting my steak up with it. You know what I mean? Like it's a boning knife and you can use it to prep meat and stuff, but then I catch myself because it's sharp, it's easy to handle. I catch myself taking it to the table with me and cutting up my chicken or cutting up my steak with it. So
And
I get steak knives, I see it, but sometimes.
Well, I feel like too, a lot of times when you buy some of these sets, it's the cheapest of whatever knife's in there. It's just a set, and like be mindful of that because there is a difference. There's a big difference when it comes to knives. Like, there's some good ones you can get at Walmart, like the Dexter Russell, or for what they are, they're great. A budget minded, like they're a beater knife to me. Like those are the ones I throw in my barbecue trailer. If they get beat up, if they get put through the dishwasher, okay, like it serves its purpose.
So I know, and we have a nice set, and I can't recall the name of it. It's got a nice block with it, and it's got some prep knives, and then it's got, I think, 10 steak knives at the bottom of it. And they're all advertised as stainless steel. Yeah. And the prep knives, they've all held up well. I've never had a problem with them. But after 2 years we had them, I got to notice, and I was like, man, these things got a little rust on them. And I told Rachel, I said, you got to quit leaving these in the dishwasher so long, whatever, this and that. But
they ain't pure stainless.
They ain't pure stainless steel. The prep knives have held up. There ain't been a lick of rust on them. But for some reason, the little steak knives, they start getting knives like these ain't pure stainless steel.
Dishwasher is the worst thing you can do to a knife.
Yeah.
Like, hands down, worst thing. Hand wash your knife, especially if there's a nice knife. I'll do it. Like, I screwed up, and I told you I had a Shun brisket knife, which I don't know if you've ever seen my Shun. It's like a Japanese Damascus steel, like it's an anniversary gift, and it's about a $300 brisket knife, and it's the sharpest knife I've ever laid my hands on. Memphis in May year before last, used it for, I don't know what we were doing. I think we were actually turning brisket in for beef, and cleaned it up, wiped it off. Didn't clean it really good because we were rushing, and just wiped it off, set it off the side. Well, got time to clean up that night, and I just stuck it in my knife roll because it looked clean. Well, it had barbecue sauce on the blade, and it pitted that blade.
Oh, yeah.
And it broke my heart.
That Damascus is hard to handle too, because I have, for work, I got a guy, I think he's from North Dakota, and he makes lineman knives. He made me a Damascus one and handmade it, sent it down here, whatever. And man, the first time I had it, you know, I loved it. And same thing, I carried it in a leather pouch on my belt at work and pulled it out one day, and I thought, what have I done? And that thing will rust. It took that Damascus a while, whereas, you know, I'd pull it out one day and it'd have that brown tone to it. And I was like, man, I better take care of this thing.
The thing about it, I know we're rambling about knives, but if a knife blade won't rust, it ain't going to get sharp.
Yeah.
It's got to rust.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have that carbon steel in there, but that's the reason I say take care of them. So to name a couple of brands and you jump in, if you're looking for a knife set, man, Victorinox, they have a ton of great ones. The Meet Your Maker, they have a couple of different sets. Some of them's like a game set. Some of them's a processing set. Of course, How to Barbecue Right, we have our knife sets that are jam up. Like I say, Victorinox. If you want to splurge, tell us about Montana knives real quick, and then we'll move on. But that is, so
to me, that's the pinnacle of knives almost. Not the pinnacle, but as like an outdoorsman,
I think
it's top
they've
notch.
come a long ways as far as like offering stuff for the chef side of things and the cooking. Like, they got a ton of great, you know, hunting knives, stuff like that. But I want one of their chef knives.
Yeah.
I want like a 6 or 8 inch small chef knife, because I felt the ones you have and they are stupid sharp.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're dangerous.
And they're not pure titanium, are they?
No, I don't remember. I didn't dig into it too much.
But they're super light.
They're built, so the outdoors knives are built because it's a Montana-based company.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of pack-in hunts. And so they built this knife. A bunch of their knives are built lightweight, back in just to cut down on weight. But like you said, those things are razor sharp.
If you want to splurge, if you want to splurge and get something fancy, I'd look at Montana Knife. I would look at,
because they've got that boning knife that they've come out with it's something special. It looks
and I'm probably saying that wrong. I think it's Shun, but I say Shun. But anyways, you get the point. Next up, I would say on my list, you need a good thermometer. I know we said the Dot earlier just because they're reasonable, but man, if you had a Dot and a thermal pen, you're set.
Even on like the smaller level cooking, like backyard cooking, like the deer kebabs at the house we cooked that night, I probably would have took them way too long because the outside of them didn't look as done as I thought they were due. But when I probed them, they were at 145 or whatever. And we're getting there.
So we use a thermal pen every night.
Yep.
Like truly, like,
I mean, even hamburgers. I mean, even like if it's like this Thanksgiving, we're warming up a bunch of stuff like casseroles and stuff, and they've been in the fridge because you made them the day before. They look like they might be done, but you just reach in and poke the center of that casserole. Yep, it's 150. It's hot. It's ready to go. Well, and a thing that I never thought about, we actually, last week we was frying deer meat at Rachel's family's place. Mr. Russ threw a couple pieces out and stuck that thermometer in there, see what that internal temperature of frying deer meat was. You know,
and you know.
Yeah, most time you look at it and that's good, and you just throw it over there in the batch. Whereas now, you know, it ain't too done, but it's done enough.
A good inch-to-read thermometer, and there's a ton of great brands. We're ThermoWorks team here, like we're 100%. The ThermoWorks thermal pen is my favorite thermometer.
Yep,
and we use it all the time.
And that's something you can go cheap on too.
Yeah,
because I've had a cheap one, and
there's nothing wrong with them. Like they'll get you by for a year or two.
Oh yeah.
But when I say a ThermoWorks thermal pen, I've had the same one for 6 years now, probably. When they first come out with the MK4, which is the newer one from the original, it takes AAA batteries. When they went to that was game changer to me, because if that's another thing is like originally the ThermoWorks thermal pen had like a watch battery in it.
Oh yeah.
And I hated that because I mean, nobody wants to jack with a watch battery trying to find 9056 or whatever. Just give me some AAAs, you know?
Yep.
And when they went to the AAA batteries, like that was game changer because it's simple. You always got AAAs around the house, but I have had one, and you probably ain't put a battery in yours, have you? Like you have to put some hours on them to put a battery in.
And if I did, it was because I left it on, and it's got a sleep time thing on it where it cuts itself off.
Yeah, the little screensaver.
Yep. I can't remember putting a battery in any of them.
So we've covered the aprons, we covered the knives. I'm just checking, making sure we're not missing nothing here. We got the rubs. We've got the summer sausage kits. Well, that's not a bad gift. That's a get the gift. It goes to deer camp.
Yeah.
And everybody snacks on it after Christmas. Or you just pitch it out there Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve night for somebody to eat on. You know, it's not I'm not going to rave about a summer sausage and cheese, but I'm not going to be disappointed if I get it.
Yeah.
But talking about summer sausage kits, I'm now referring to like actual processing. Like I love doing, like you get something to make jerky, like a dehydrator, any kind of processing equipment. Most of your husbands, guys, outdoorsmen, anybody like that can use it, whether it be a little hand meat grinder, a good meat tenderizer, disposable cutting boards. Like,
oh yeah,
that's just, yes, it's just cardboard paper. But man, if you give me 50 disposable cutting boards, I'm tickled to death because we use them all the time.
Oh yeah.
So that, a lot of people don't think about stuff like that. They think about the core things, but man, you walk down the aisle at, I don't know, Sportsman Warehouse or Bass Pro where they keep all the processing stuff. Anything on that aisle to me is good. You know, like,
well, that's what with me. I'm one of those people. I'm not very patient. And I went on and bought me a meat grinder from Meat.
Yeah.
You know, just they had them half price. I'm not waiting on somebody to get me this, so I went on and got it. But things like that for somebody that doesn't want to, if they're hunting and don't want to take their meat to a processor, that grinder and that vacuum sealer and the bags, if they want to experiment making jerky, sausage, dehydrators, things like that, or, you know,
makes your life easier.
Yeah. Like to me, I probably wouldn't go out and buy me a dehydrator, but if somebody just splurged and bought me a dehydrator, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to slice me up some jerky and make me some jerky.
That's actually on my Christmas list this year is a dehydrator. We used to have one years ago.
The plastic one with the different levels?
Yes. And I mean, it worked.
Yep.
I don't know how it worked because I don't know what it done. I don't understand how dehydrating, I don't know the math and science of that, but I mean, you could throw fruit in sesame. I love dried fruit.
Yeah.
And if a freaking freeze dryer wasn't so expensive, I'd like to toy with that.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother level. But anything with processing, like I say, a lot of people don't know about the disposable cutting boards. And that is...
I didn't until I started running around with you.
That is
watching you cook
the best thing ever. You know, I mean, yes, it's wasteful, but it's so much easier, especially if you're doing chicken or something you don't want cross-contamination in. You get one of them boards out, cut it up, do what you got to do, get done, throw the board away, and you're through. Like, you're sanitized. It's clean. Wipe the counter off, you're ready to go. Yeah. So that's always been a good one. I haven't been around much of the like marinade tubs, but I know I've been seeing a lot more of it's called drippies. Have you seen that? Where it's like a cutting board and the sides pop up.
The sides pop up.
And it turns into like a marinade tub. I was like, that's a solid there. That's a good one, you know. What else would you say in your realm of cooking that we had spoke about would be a good call? Vacuum sealer was one. We kind of mentioned that.
The vacuum sealer process. A
sous vide.
Yeah.
They got to where now you can get a sous vide for under $100. And I don't use mine for steaks like you see everybody rave about, but I use it for everything else. Like if we want to reheat barbecue, throw the Ziploc bag in there with whatever pulled pork, turn the sous vide to 150 and let it go, you know, or I do it for a lot with desserts because, you know, my wife cooks desserts and I enjoy doing it, but creme brulees, you know, throw them in there, cheesecakes. Like it's a cooking utensil that you'll use more than you think you will. You won't ever get one for yourself, but if somebody gave you one, just like you would never buy one.
No.
But if I got you one, you would probably use it.
I'd throw something in there. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to. Yep.
Sous vide's a good one though, man. You can get them off Amazon. Like I say, that's an easy shopping list. Nothing to it there.
I was thinking like somebody like me that's just not into it as much as you are, like like grill cleaners, stuff to help clean up. Because like you said, that's the thing. The cooking part's fun. Then you got to clean it up. That's the kind of not so fun part. You know, like grill cleaners or like your cutting board, disposable cutting boards you're talking about. Things like that make the job easier. You know?
Like I would be appreciative of like the cotton liners, the white cotton gloves, and a good set of nitrile gloves. Yep. You know, everybody's always asking like, how are y'all handling that meat or grill or whatever? Like, are those gloves insulated? No, we use the white cotton liners and the nitrile gloves. And it's again, it's something that you're going to run out of. You're going to use them all the time. And so if you get more of them, you're good.
Yep. Use stuff useful.
See, I'm in my mind, I'm walking through Bass Pro and Lowe's and all these stores, like seeing what I see on the shelf
Yeah.
and what jumps out. Hamburger press. I cannot pat a hamburger out. I'll screw them up every time.
I had one of them little red ones one time. It didn't work out. I wasn't no good at it.
No, you gotta get like
it's an art to using them things.
Like I got a Meet Your Maker press. I have a LEM or LEM that's like, it's kind of a heavy duty, and there's several different brands, but like an aluminum one, you can adjust the
thickness.
And then it tells you like, all right, if it's this thick, that's a 1/2 pound patty or a 1/3 pound. Everybody uses them.
Yeah.
Man, for the nicer side, I'd have to give my buddy old Heath Bloodsacker a call on them cutting boards. Bloodsacker Woodworks or Bloodsacker Custom Cutting Board. Forgive me, Hank and Heath. I don't know what your exact company is, but we're going to have him on the podcast in the future, but he does legit handmade cutting boards that are beautiful.
Yeah. Those are like the knives. That's
a
one time.
And I use mine like,
thing.
I have one and it's beautiful. And it's like, man, I'd be scared to use it. No, I'll put that baby through the ringer.
They're built to work.
That's character.
Yep.
I mean, it adds to it,
Yep. A
good cutting board, that's a solid there. Man, there's so many options.
There is. To me, one thing that I don't realize it, and I think I said this earlier, is like the stainless steel bowls.
Yeah.
Like when I'm not an inside cook, like stuff on the stove ain't my cup of tea, but outside, and that's the one thing. When we moved in our new house, I was doing something, getting ready to cook something outside, and I was like, I need a bowl. Well, it was the plastic bowl or this bowl. And I was like, man, I need a good set of, just from any like little 6-inch up to the big, because even like, messing with deer meat, messing with turkey breast, mixing up hamburger meat, this and that, them big stainless steel bowls they're nice where you can.
Yeah, and they're budget friendly.
They are.
And you can get a kit for
and
$25-$30.
Like you said, most of them ain't going to rust, so you don't have to just take the best care of them. You can let them sit for a couple hours before something bad happens to them.
I was thinking too, like, I'm a cast iron. Like,
yeah.
I love cooking on cast iron, and it's something about cast iron that everybody that cooks on it wants you to know they cook on cast iron, but cast iron's always a good one. And that's another thing is I didn't realize this is like, I've always used to see in the lodge cast iron you see, but there's high end cast iron out there too, that you can spend as little or as much as you want. But,
and I never realized with cast iron too, like you go to the antique shop and I thought those cast iron pots and pans hanging on the wall were decorations. And, I'm like, who would buy that piece of junk, But then you talk to some older people and that's
refurbish them.
Yes, that is a delicacy to them. They'll spend a lot of money and take it home and refurbish it.
I was seeing the other day, one of the guys posted on TikTok, he does like the refurbishing, puts them in the electrolyte tank or whatever and gets them clean. But the one he done was stamped from like the 1920s.
That's crazy.
It was some big ranch out in Texas. It was like their brand. And it was pretty dang cool. And I was like, it'd be cool to find one of these.
Yeah, and to think of like the cowboys that use that thing.
Where did that skillet go?
Yeah, and what does it seem?
Yeah.
Yep.
But all right, so we got some good gift ideas. We've covered the rubs, different gift sets. One of the ones that Tyler was talking about earlier when we were talking about this podcast was like hot sauce kits. And I'm not a hothead. Like I like hot sauces, but I'm not going to just go out and try to find the hottest, but they are fun. Like some of those kits make you step out of your comfort zone and try different hot sauces, and you might find one that you do like.
Yeah.
They don't have to be the screaming hot ones, but if you want to burn somebody down, that's a funny dirty Santa gift.
Yeah, find that one that thinks he can eat the hottest thing. And
so, if you're going to go to a dirty Santa, not a dirty Santa, but a friend's Christmas dirty Santa where your wives will get in trouble if you bring something actual dirty, but what are some ideas you could take there? Because there's always going to be dudes there that cook. They're going to grab whatever. So if you show up with something cooking related, what is a budget? 25 and under. What are you taking to Dirty Santa?
25 and under. Whew.
I'm probably going to have to go with one of those summer sausage kits or like a gift basket, like put a gift basket together like we do up front, a couple different rubs.
Yep.
I've took several gift baskets to Dirty Santa.
And see, like,
and they're going to get fought over.
With y'all shop, you can get pickles and all the other jar, the stuff that y'all've got in the jars that you put in that basket that would fit well. I'd be happy to get something like that. I don't know. I'd have to walk around and look and shop.
It's a bunch of items. Like there's a ton of options. Like
yeah. You could,
and it can be good. Like it don't have to be expensive to be good. I know we're talking like high end knives and stuff like that, but it don't have to be $200 or $300.
No, you can find that like $25, $40. I mean, $40.
That Victorinox knife, $21 on Amazon.
Yep.
And
I mean, for $40, you could get a heck of a gift that's gonna.
What is that? All right, what is that Victorinox? It's a 7-inch curved boning knife.
I think so.
And it's red handle. I think they got a.
Mine's black.
And I think they got a white, but the old school one we all had was the red handle.
Yep.
And it was a good knife.
They are good. They're really, and they sharpen well and they stay sharp.
So we're food related. Like, I'm a foodie. Tell me if you were going to show up at a Christmas party or host a Christmas party. Now, we ain't worried about the gifts now. We're talking food. What is the perfect Christmas party?
Ooh.
Like, what's going to be your appetizers? What's going to be your sides? What would be your perfect Christmas party?
If I'm hosting or going?
Either one.
Man.
If you're going.
If I'm going.
Like, if you're going to a Christmas party, you and Rachel go to leave, and y'all both look at each other and y'all get in the cars, like, that was epic. Like, that was some fine groceries.
I'm going to say an appetizer, sausage and cheese plate.
Fancy charcuterie board.
Yeah. Maybe the little slider sandwiches.
You're hitting some of the notes the other guests have hit on. Me and Shell talked about some sliders the other day.
They're good. They're hard to beat, man.
Yeah.
Sides. Macaroni and cheese hard to beat.
Good macaroni.
Good
cheese.
macaroni.
I ain't talking about box.
Yeah, that's hard to beat. Man, I don't know. I go to Christmas parties. I finger food it all. I don't I don't make a big plate. I stand up and talk, and I don't
walk around and graze.
Down. Yeah. I don't sit down and make a meal. I kind of,
Dang, I may have got you on the wrong segment. I should have brought you for the appetizer segment.
Sorry. But I mean, going somewhere, somebody's hosting a Christmas party, but like I'm stuck on like the chicken wings, and
you want good snacky food.
Maybe something sliced up, where you can get 2 slices instead. I think we've talked about this before, cooking steaks. Instead of serving the whole steak, slice it up where
do like a flight of different ones.
Yeah. Where like my kids can get 5 pieces of steak and I can get 10 instead of getting a whole steak and having to cut, stuff like that. I feel like would be,
that is a good idea. And we've done that before. Like, cooking individual steaks, you got to have everybody a steak.
Yep.
And a lot of waste goes on most of the time. And we've cooked 4 or 5 steaks and sliced them up and fed 10 people and had leftovers.
Turned it into a bigger meal. Because if I sit down with a steak, I'm probably going to try to eat that whole steak. I'm going to try to eat the whole steak. If you got it in slices, I'm going to get me just, 5, 6, 7 slices. Yeah. And then eat that.
See, I save the being miserable after eating. That's a Thanksgiving. I don't want to be miserable at Christmas because.
Oh, I do.
I don't.
I still do. I don't want to be, but like at our family Christmases, yeah, I still get miserable.
My thing is, like, I walk around snacking, you don't realize how much you eat because you've been grazing all day like a cow, and then you sit down at 4 o'clock and you're like.
But at like our family Christmases, we make a plate and sit down and eat.
Yeah.
Whereas like if I come to a Christmas party at your house, I'm probably not going to make a plate and sit down at the table and eat. I'm going to get me a little bit of this and a little bit of that and stand up with my plate and talk.
So you're finger food, pass around, hang out, fellowship. I can get behind that. But what do you want for Christmas?
Oh, man.
And it ain't got to be food related because, I mean, hopefully your wife will listen to this in a couple of days. And what do you want for Christmas?
I done got where, I guess the older I get.
Christmas ain't the same as what it was.
Oh, no. Not at all. Man, it depends on what tier we go on. If we go on that upper tier, I don't want people spending a bunch of money on me.
Yeah.
Like a hoodie, a good jacket, a hoodie to wear somewhere presentable and then a hoodie to go out in the yard and work in.
Man.
Or a jacket. But then you go on the lower end, like I said earlier, pocket knives and flashlights. I ain't never got enough of them for some reason.
And as bad as I hate to say this, a good freaking pair of socks.
Yeah.
Like we always
socks
joke,
are hard to find.
I mean, now I ain't talking about your Hanes from Walmart. I'm talking about like some good socks.
Yeah.
Like good
And they've got a lot to choose. I was looking at them the other day. They've got the alpaca wool and they've got
seal
wools,
skin.
Yeah, wools that I can't even pronounce. And, but to me, pocket knives and flashlights are if somebody wanted to get me something good, that would be, I can't ever, that's the thing. People ask me all the time, what do you want for Christmas? And I can't really.
I say stuff all year. I'm like, man, I wish I need this,
Yep.
and then when it comes Christmas time, I'm like stage fright. I'm like,
and my mama gets so mad at me because I'll have stuff I want and I'm so impatient that I'll buy this $30 item here and $30 item here. And then she's like, why didn't you just wait and let me get you that for Christmas?
Because I'm already there.
Yeah,
and I wanted
it's like, I can't, I don't have any patience.
Well, I think that's going to do it. I mean, we've covered the basics. And that's the biggest thing is we just want to give y'all some ideas, some, different Christmas gifts, help you plan your party. We want y'all's Christmas party to be as good as ours. I think we're going to have a pretty good one this year. I might do a hog. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But
those have gotten fun.
It has. But we appreciate y'all listening. Jody, thank you. We got to go eat some supper. We got you out here late tonight.
Yep.
And
thank you for having me.
have a good time. But y'all, thanks for listening. Y'all check us out on Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we're there. Y'all shoot us any messages, any questions y'all got. We're going to get started on this next season. We had a ball talking about Christmas parties, but we'll see y'all next time.